What is up, guys? Today we're looking at a few early game Minecraft farms. Now the intention for these farms is that you don't need endgame materials to make them. So we're going to try avoid things like nether quartz, observers, obsidian, and things like that which you wouldn't have early on in the game. So without further ado, let's dive in. So our first farm is going to be a very simple fish farm. Now this farm would only be used to find fish and experience. You cannot find treasure with it. That means no enchanted rods, no books, nothing like that. So with that said, what do we need for our fish farm? Here we can see all the items we need. So we need a water bucket, some temporary blocks, dirt will do. We need 4 oak signs, an oak fence post, a trapdoor, and a heavy weighted pressure plate. We also obviously need a fishing rod to actually catch the fish. So the first thing we do is we put down our fence post, and we then surround that on 3 sides with oak signs. Once we have that done, we'll dig a hole here, and we'll add the 2 dirt blocks beside it. Now we'll place the final oak sign on the bottom dirt block. After this, we'll place the trapdoor on the top dirt block, like so. We then place the pressure plate on top of the post and empty the water onto the post. And we're done. So if we actually look at the water now, we can see that it's moving and flowing. So we can get our fishing rod, right click to cast it, and aim at the top of the sign on the dirt block. So we're holding down the right mouse button, and yet we're not reeling in our line because we're targeting that signpost. And now we simply wait to catch something. And there we go. And we instantly recast the line, and all we're doing is holding down the right mouse button. So we can actually improve this slightly by adding a hopper underneath going into a chest. So we'll place a double chest here, and then shift click a hopper under the signpost into that chest. And now any fish that we catch should go into that hopper and be pushed into that chest. Now we just wait to catch something. And we'll just catch one more. There we go, and we should have 2 fish in our chest. Now I don't believe that the hole is actually necessary for this method, so you can feel free to fill it in and everything should still work. The reason I had it was because I adapted this from a different method which used a note block in place of that bottom dirt block and didn't use any oak signs. Now the method that uses the note block does work, but unfortunately it requires redstone to make that note block. So here's the method with the note block. We simply replace the bottom dirt block with a note block, add that hole, remove all the signs, and the water will flow from the post into that hole. Now this works in the same way as the signs. It's simply holding down right click on the note block, and then whenever we catch a fish, we automatically recast. You also do not need the top dirt block, but without that the note block will make sound and it'll be incredibly annoying, as I'll show you now. And that's enough of that. Now one thing that people never mention is that your fishing spot should be open to the sky. So while you might want to avoid mobs, do not create a roof directly over where you're fishing. If you do have a roof, then it will take twice as long to catch a fish. You can also use a tool like Auto Hotkey to catch fish while AFK. An example script might look like this. Here we're saying that when we press Ctrl and J, we click down the right mouse button. This essentially just holds right-click. To cancel the script, we can simply right-click on our actual mouse. So let's move on to our second farm. Now this is an extremely simple cow farm. All you'll need is some cobblestone, some stairs, 2 hoppers, a chest, an oak fence, and a water bucket. You'll also need some way to lure 2 cows into the farm. You can do this by using wheat or a lead. So we'll start out by carving an L into the ground. This is where we'll put our chests and our hoppers. So we'll put our one chest in here, and we can make this a double chest if we want. And then we'll shift click our hoppers into the back of that chest, and then into the other hopper. Now we'll create a cross of cobblestone with that second hopper at its center. We'll now want to create some stairs up the front and the back. Now this isn't strictly necessary, but it makes it easier to get the cows into the farm. If you don't have a lead and you're using wheat, I'd recommend creating stairs on all sides. Once you have cobblestone or stairs on all sides, simply place the water in above the hopper. Now we'll want to get some cows into our farm. You'll need at least 2 cows. You can lure them up with wheat, but you'll need to push them into the hole. This can get quite challenging, so you're better off building a platform around the hole. So a platform like this would work. We can now attempt to corner it and push it into the hole. It'll still take a few tries though. And there we go. Now using a lead is a much easier way of trapping the cows. Leads, however, require slime balls, which can be rare early game. So while leads are better, wheat can work. It will just take some additional effort. Now once you have 2 or more cows in your farm, you'll want to put a temporary block on one of the sides, and then add a fence post attached to that temporary block. Once you remove the temporary block, the fence post will be above the cows. Now you can feed and breed the cows until you have 24 cows in a single space. Once the cows breed above the 24 entity limit, the older cows will die, and their materials will go into your hopper and into the chest below the farm. We have 24 cows here, and we'll start feeding them, and they should start instantly dying off. We can now check our chest and see the leather and raw beef that we've collected so far. I would recommend building this away from your base, as the cows can be extremely loud. Now, since we are using wheat for cows, we might want a wheat farm. So to do this, we'll need a lot of cobblestone, a single hopper, a chest, several buckets of water, 7 trapdoors, and 7 levers. We'll also need a hoe and some wheat seeds. Now you don't need to use cobblestone, you can use dirt or any other solid block. You may also want an infinite water source, so to make one, create an L like so, and fill the 2 ends. This middle block will now become an infinite water source. Now we'll be going with a 7x7 farm. So we'll start out by placing 7 cobblestones in a row. We'll then want to count out 8 blocks from the wall. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we break the 9th block. And we break that along 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then create a 2 deep hole on the 9th block. Now we've created our farmable area, so we want to wall it off with a 2 high wall. We'll just leave it as 1 high for the moment though. And make sure to come around the back of the trench that we've dug. Now we'll want to come to the side opposite the trench and place trapdoors down along here and open each of the trapdoors. We can now place some cobblestone on top of the trapdoors. And then we'll place levers on top of the cobblestones that are over each of the trapdoors. Now, I probably should have placed the water in behind the trapdoors before putting the cobblestones on top, but we can also do that later. Now, I'd recommend triggering each of the levers 3 times, and that'll just open and close the trapdoor, meaning that next time you use the levers, they'll open straight away. We can now fill in the water, but as I said earlier, you should have probably done this before putting the cobblestone on top of the trapdoors. However, it's still easy enough to fill in the water. And after this, we'll build up all the walls around our farm. So now that we have our 2-high wall, we'll want to put down our hopper and our chests. So we'll dig out a 2-deep area, put in our treasure chests, and create a step down to those chests. We'll now want to shift click the hopper into the chests and place a temporary block above the chest. On that temporary block, we'll place a trapdoor and we'll open it. Now we'll place our final bucket of water in the corner, which will flow towards the hopper and stop on the block before it. We can now proceed to hoe the farm. Once everything is hoed, we can escape using the trench and then plant our seeds from on top of the walls. Now, due to the compact nature of the farm, you should be able to plant up to 4 spaces away. This means that you can reach the entire farmed area from on top of the walls. You can also jump in, but you'll damage the ground and the crops. However, this might be faster to do after harvesting. Now that all our wheat has grown, harvesting is as simple as triggering all the levers. So we just run across, trigger them all, and our crops get washed to the end. We now turn them all off to stop the water, and this trench will carry all the crops towards our hopper. And you can see here that they're beginning to filter in, although it takes a little time to work through the hopper. So there they all are, 49 wheat and probably about 150 seeds. So there we are, 49 wheat and 139 seeds. We can now replant, let them grow again, and reharvest. Now, I've seen a good few variations of this farm. Some are a lot bigger, some use redstone, others use a chain of hoppers, but this one is meant to be as simple as possible. Chains of hoppers in the early game are expensive due to the iron requirements, so we want to do as much as we can with just dirt, stone, water, and very, very simple materials. Now, that's all our farms for today. Thank you all for watching, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Also check out some of my other Minecraft videos.